Part 6 of What If the final season of Game of Thrones was really good. Now that our heroes have decided to use the Battle of Blackwater as a distraction, here are the 5 members of the strike team that are meant to infiltrate the castle in an attempt to get close and to kill the Night King. Melisandre, Sir Davos, the Hound, Arya, and Jon himself. As I stated before, this is basically a suicide mission, so the idea that Jon would speak up and volunteer for this kind of a mission, it's pretty bold. And Daenerys, who's obviously in love with Jon, says, "No, you can't. We're in this together. We have to lead together. I'm not going to let you do this." But Jon says, "I never wanted to be king. These people need one leader, and that's you. And if this doesn't work, then I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I knew there was more I could have done to defeat the Night King. I have to go." And Dany knows how important defeating the Night King is to him, but she has to ask, do I matter to you? Do we matter to you? And Jon just looks at her and says, "Daenerys, we're family. Regardless of how we feel about each other, it won't work. I can't be your husband, but you are my queen. And I'm not going to do this without your permission." And Dany is heartbroken. And with tears in her eyes, she simply nods her head in approval. And Jon bends the knee before her, and Daenerys walks away. Smash cut to Cersei sitting in the brig in one of Euron Greyjoy's ships. So the last sequence in this episode is basically the people versus Cersei Lannister. Now, with the exception of the Night King, Cersei Lannister has been the big bad of Game of Thrones. She's a supervillain, and she's basically been able to get away with everything she's done. However, now that she's had her leg torn off and been mentally tortured by the Night King, she's a very humbled version of herself. And Tyrion sees this, and guess who he brings down to her cell? Sansa, Arya, and Bran. 3 of the people she's probably wronged the most outside of Tyrion. So they all look down on her, and Sansa says, "Your father, your son, and you are responsible for every death in our family. What do you have to say for yourself?" And Cersei says, "When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die." So Arya pulls out her Valyrian steel blade and holds it up to Cersei's neck and sees all the fear in her eyes. And with tears in her eyes, she locks eyes with Arya. Then Arya, without injuring Cersei, puts her blade away, looks around the jail cell and says, "Enjoy your throne." Like and follow for part 7!